Every bartender has a story, not about the perfect cocktail they made or the celebrity who walked in. No, these are stories about the moment they questioned whether humanity was going to make it. Behind every bar is a collection of complaints so spectacularly stupid, they almost feel like performance art. We're not talking about legitimate issues here. We're talking about grown adults lodging formal grievances against reality itself. We've gathered the cream of the crop, the absolute pinnacle of absurdity. So settle in, and whatever you do, don't let these people hear you complain as we count down the 50 dumbest things people have ever complained about at bars. 1. Let's start with a complaint. That shows a fundamental misunderstanding of how business works. A guy walks into a packed bar on a Saturday night, looks around at the crowd, and immediately asks for the manager. His complaint? There are too many other customers, and it's making the place feel crowded. He genuinely wanted the bar to turn people away so he could have a more private experience at a public establishment. The manager just stared at him and said, "Sir, that's literally what success looks like." 2. Physics isn't everyone's strong suit, but this is next level. A woman ordered a draft beer and watched the bartender pour it. The moment she saw bubbles rising to the top, she held up her hand. "Stop," she said. "Why is it bubbling? Is it expired?" The bartender had to explain that carbonation, the thing that makes beer, creates bubbles. She remained skeptical and asked if they had any still beer instead. 3. A complaint about temperature, but not the one you'd expect. A man sent back his beer because it was too cold. When the bartender offered to let it warm up, the man got offended. "No, I want a fresh one that you prepared at the correct temperature from the start." He expected the bartender to have predicted exactly when he'd take each sip and pre-warmed the beer accordingly. 4. Some people really don't understand what they're ordering. A customer asked for a Bloody Mary, extra spicy. It arrived with all the traditional garnishes. She took one look and pushed it back, disgusted. "This has a celery stick in it," she said. "I'm on a diet. I can't have vegetables." The irony of rejecting a celery stick while ordering a cocktail was completely lost on her. 5. Here's a complaint that ventures into the supernatural. A regular customer insisted that his usual bar stool had absorbed bad energy from the previous person who sat there. He demanded the bartender either sage the stool or get him a completely new one from the back. The bar didn't have a back. They only had the stools that were bolted to the floor. 6. Geography and logic aren't friends here. During happy hour, a woman ordered a drink. When the bill came and showed the discounted price, she complained that she was being undercharged and demanded to pay full price because discounts feel cheap. The bartender tried to explain that saving money was the point. She filed a complaint with corporate about forced discounts, ruining her premium experience. 7. A masterclass in missing the point entirely. A bachelor party ordered a round of shots. As the bartender lined them up, one guy protested. "Hold on," he said, looking genuinely concerned. "These shot glasses are really small. Can you pour them into regular glasses instead?" He had just described a cocktail, but remained convinced he'd discovered a loophole to get more alcohol. 8. The entitlement is stunning with this one. A couple came in 5 minutes before closing time. The bartender politely informed them the kitchen was closed, but they could order drinks. They sat down, ordered 2 beers, and then complained that the rushed atmosphere of staff cleaning up around them was ruining their romantic evening. 9. Sometimes you witness a complete divorce from reality. A man ordered a gin and tonic, then pulled out a small flashlight and shined it into his glass, inspecting it like a detective. He called the bartender over and pointed at the tonic water bubbles. "What are these white things floating in my drink?" he demanded. The bartender replied, "Carbonation, sir." The man insisted they were suspicious particles and demanded a full refund. 10. Here's one that redefines irony. A woman sat at the bar, scrolling through her phone, completely ignoring the bartender's 3 attempts to take her order. After 10 minutes, she finally looked up and complained that the service was too slow and no one had helped her yet. 11. The misunderstanding of basic concepts continues. A guy ordered a virgin mojito, listened to the price, then got angry. "Why does it cost almost the same as a regular mojito if there's no alcohol?" he demanded. The bartender explained he was paying for the fresh mint, lime, muddling, and labor. The guy's response: "Yeah, but the alcohol is the expensive part. Rent, utilities, and skilled labor apparently mean nothing." 12. A complaint so specific it becomes art. A woman sent her martini back because the olive had a pimento that was slightly off-center. Not rotten, rotten, not missing. The filling was just asymmetrical within the olive. She wanted a replacement martini with a geometrically perfect olive, or she wasn't paying. 13. Technology creates new realms of stupidity. A customer tried to scan a QR code menu, but their phone's camera wasn't working. They immediately blamed the bar, insisting the QR code was defective. The bartender scanned it with his own phone to prove it worked. The customer's response? Well, your phone is obviously on it. 14. Some people really don't understand what they're asking for. A health-conscious customer ordered a vodka soda, then asked a follow-up question with complete sincerity. How many calories are in the vodka? Can you make it with low-calorie vodka instead? She believed calories were an ingredient the bartender added, not an inherent property of alcohol. 15. The audacity is breathtaking. A group ran up a $200 tab over 3 hours, then complained when the bartender brought them the check. Their reasoning? We didn't ask for the check yet. They believed that not requesting the bill meant they could simply leave without paying. 16. Here's a complaint about basic mathematics. A guy ordered a double whiskey. When it arrived, he measured it against a single pour he'd ordered earlier and erupted. This isn't twice as much, he shouted. The bartender patiently explained that a double is 2 ounces versus 1 ounce. The man insisted it should be measured by height in the glass, not actual volume. 17. Sometimes the complaint is about refusing to accept the menu. A customer demanded a specific imported beer the bar didn't carry. When offered alternatives, he refused and complained that the bar was discriminating against his preferences by not having every beer that exists on planet Earth in stock. 18. The lack of self-awareness is profound. A man brought in his own bottle of wine, cracked it open, and started pouring. When the bartender informed him about the corkage fee and the fact that outside drinks weren't allowed, the man complained that the bar was being anti-business by not supporting his personal importation choices. 19. Here's one that defies all logic. A woman complained that her Cosmopolitan was too pink. Not the wrong color entirely, just too intensely the exact color a Cosmopolitan is supposed to be. She asked if the bartender could make it a more subdued, tasteful pink. The drink's color comes from the cranberry juice. The bartender would have needed to invent new physics. 20. The complaint that shows someone has never been in public before. A customer at a sports bar during a playoff game complained that too many people are yelling. When the bartender explained it was a sports bar during a major game, the customer doubled down, insisting the other patrons were being inconsiderate to those who came for quiet drinking. 21. A beautiful example of creating your own problem. A guy ordered a beer, took a sip, then rested his glass right on the edge of the bar. It tipped over and spilled everywhere. His immediate reaction: your bar isn't level. I'm not paying for another one. The bartender pulled out an actual level and proved the bar was perfectly flat. 22. The entitlement reaches new heights. A woman asked if she could charge her phone behind the bar. The bartender politely declined, explaining it was a staff-only area. She filed an online review complaining about refusing to provide basic humanitarian services and compared it to denying someone water. 23. Sometimes people just don't understand what words mean. A customer ordered a craft cocktail from the specialty menu, then complained when it took 6 minutes to make. I thought craft meant you were good at it, he said. Good bartenders should be fast. The concept that craft implies care and complexity completely escaped him. 24. Here's a complaint about the fundamental nature of ice. A man ordered a whiskey on the rocks, then called the bartender back over after 1 minute. These ice cubes are melting into my drink, he said with genuine distress. Is there a way to stop that? The bartender just replied, yes sir, it's called neat ordering it neat. 25. The complaint shows zero concept of how tips work. After receiving exceptional service all night, a customer left a 5% tip. When the bartender's face showed disappointment, the customer complained to the manager that the staff was trying to guilt-trip him and that tips should be given without emotional manipulation. 26. A legendary misunderstanding of what alcohol does. A woman on her 4th cocktail complained that she was feeling weird and suspected something was wrong with the drinks. The bartender asked her what she meant. I feel kind of lightheaded and happy, she explained. She was complaining that the alcohol was working exactly as intended. 27. The complaint that rewrites biology. A customer customer insisted they were allergic to clear liquors only, not grain alcohol or specific ingredients, but specifically clear-colored spirits. When the bartender suggested it might be specific ingredients, the customer insisted it was definitely the clarity of the liquid causing reactions. 28. Here's one that shows a fundamental misunderstanding of ambiance. A customer at a dimly lit cocktail lounge complained they couldn't read the menu well. When offered a small reading light, they refused and demanded the bar turn up all the overhead lights instead, completely destroying the atmosphere for everyone else. 29. The audacity of this complaint is remarkable. A guy brought a first date to the bar. It went terribly. As he paid, he asked the bartender if he could get a discount, because the night didn't go as planned. He genuinely believed his romantic failure entitled him to reduced drink. Prices 30. Sometimes the complaint is just about refusing to make decisions. A customer asked what the bartender recommended. The bartender suggested 3 options. The customer said no to each one, then complained that the bartender wasn't being helpful enough, despite offering no information about their own preferences. 31. A complaint about the fundamental properties of citrus. A woman ordered a margarita, watched the bartender squeeze fresh lime juice, then stopped him. "Is that going in my drink?" she asked, pointing at the lime. When he confirmed, she complained that she wanted the margarita flavor, not actual fruit. She believed margarita taste came from somewhere other than its ingredients. 32. Here's a complaint that ignores how promotions work. A customer came in for ladies' night, where women get discounted drinks. A man complained this was discrimination and demanded the same discount. When told it was a promotional event, he threatened to call his lawyer about gender-based pricing. 33. The complaint that shows someone has never experienced cause and effect. A regular who came in every Friday and drank heavily complained that he was mysteriously gaining weight. He insisted something in the bar's specific beer was causing it, not the 2,000 calories in alcohol he consumed weekly. 34. A masterpiece of missing the obvious. A customer ordered a Long Island iced tea, drank half, then complained it was too strong and making him tipsy. The bartender had to explain that a Long Island contains 5 different liquors and is literally designed to be strong. 37. A complaint about the laws of sound. A customer sitting directly next to the speaker complained the music was too loud. The bartender offered him any other seat in the bar. He refused to move and continued complaining, insisting the speaker should be turned down for everyone instead. 38. The complaint shows a fundamental misunderstanding of commerce. A customer finished their entire meal and both cocktails, then said they didn't enjoy it and shouldn't have to pay. When the bartender explained that consumption implies acceptance, the customer threatened to dispute the charge. 39. Here's a complaint about personal choices. A designated driver ordered a soda. When the bill came and included the $3 charge, he complained that he shouldn't have to pay because he was being responsible. He expected free drinks as a reward for basic decision-making. 40. A complaint that ignores the concept of limited space. A customer wanted to reserve a table at a first-come, first-served bar. When told they don't take reservations, he showed up anyway, saw people sitting in his spot, and complained to management about not honoring his non-existent reservation. 41. The complaint about basic flavor profiles. A man ordered an IPA, took one sip, and sent it back complaining it was too hoppy. IPAs are literally defined by being hop-forward. That's like ordering hot sauce and complaining it's spicy. 42. Here's one that shows zero understanding of alcohol content. A customer switching from beer to cocktails complained that she got drunk much faster on cocktails and suspected they were being made too strong. Standard pours were being used? She just didn't understand that cocktails contain more alcohol than beer. 43. A complaint about the existence of other humans. A man complained that the couple next to him was talking too much and their conversation was distracting him. He wasn't trying to work or have his own conversation. He just wanted complete silence in a social establishment. 44. The complaint that ignores posted policies. A customer ordered premium top-shelf liquor in all their cocktails, then exploded when the bill reflected premium prices. They insisted they shouldn't be charged extra because the bartender didn't warn them, despite the prices being on the menu they'd been holding. 45. Here's a complaint about the nature of fruit. A woman ordered a strawberry daiquiri. When it arrived bright red, she sent it back saying she was trying to avoid artificial artificial colors. The bartender explained it was actual strawberries creating the color. She didn't believe him because fruit isn't that red. 46. A complaint that rewrites basic service. A customer sat at the bar but refused to order, saying he was just looking. After 20 minutes of occupying a seat during rush hour, he complained when asked if he'd like to order or free up the stool for paying customers. 47. The complaint about standard glassware. A customer ordered a beer and complained it was served in the wrong glass. When asked what the right glass was, he couldn't answer but remained, insistent that this particular pint glass felt wrong and demanded it be poured into a different identical pint glass. 48. Here's one that shows complete ignorance of how straws work. A customer put a straw in their beer, then complained the straw made the beer taste different. The bartender explained that beer tastes the same, regardless of delivery method, but the customer insisted the straw changed the molecular structure. 49. A complaint about weather that exists outside. A customer at a patio bar complained it was too hot outside. Not that the bar was hot, that summer itself was too warm. They demanded the manager do something about it, or provide a discount for the inconvenience of the season. 50. And finally, the complaint that perfectly summarizes this entire list. A customer walked into a bar, looked around at people drinking and socializing, and complained that the place had too much of a bar vibe for his taste. When asked what he expected at a bar, he said he thought it would be classier and less bar-like. He'd complained his way into a philosophical paradox.